Third Grand Slam tennis tournament of the season at Wimbledon. One of the finals, Carlos Alcaraz v Novak Djokovic. Carlos Alcaraz leads the first set with a double break at 5-2 Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz service game, 30-15. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box just out, so second serve. Carlos Alcaraz potentially 2 points from leading this final. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to centre of the box, bit of depth. Backhand return from Novak Djokovic, depth, and backhand from Carlos Alcaraz to the right. And Novak Djokovic strikes a forehand to left, but just hits the net. So 40-15 and 2 set points for Carlos Alcaraz. So Carlos Alcaraz potentially a point from leading the final. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box just out, so second serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box with a bit of depth. Novak Djokovic forehand with depth to the right. Carlos Alcaraz then with a forehand to the right with depth, and then Novak Djokovic with a short angle backhand to the left, and then Carlos Alcaraz gets a bit of backhand slice racket to it, but can't get the ball much further, so 40-30. Good backhand short angle strike on that shot on that point from Novak Djokovic. 40-30. Another set point for Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to centre with depth, and Novak Djokovic with a forehand return to the right just hits the net. So Carlos Alcaraz leads this final by 1-0. 6-2 Carlos Alcaraz in the first set with a double break, and Carlos Alcaraz leads by 1-0. Serve with depth on that last point of the set from Carlos Alcaraz to the centre as Carlos Alcaraz leads this final. Carlos Alcaraz leads by 2-0. 6-2, 6-2, first 2 sets with a double break lead. Love 30 at 4-all in the third set on this Novak Djokovic service game. Novak Djokovic with a serve to the centre of depth. Carlos Alcaraz backhand block turn. Novak Djokovic with a backhand volley to the right, but then Carlos Alcaraz drives a forehand volley passing shot to the left, and it's in, and it's a winner. 3 break points for Carlos Alcaraz. Love 40. Novak Djokovic or wide serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a backhand return to the centre, but Novak Djokovic at the net with a forehand volley to the right, and it's a winner. So 15-40. Novak Djokovic with a wide serve with depth. Carlos Alcaraz forehand block turn. Novak Djokovic with forehand with depth to the left, and Novak Djokovic at the net. But Carlos Alcaraz with a backhand passing angled shot to the right, and it's in. And it's a backhand passing short angled backhand passing shot to the right, and it's a winner. And Carlos Alcaraz may be potentially one game away from winning the trophy tournament title at the third tennis Grand Slam of the season at Wimbledon. And Carlos Alcaraz leads with a breaker serve in the third set at 5-4 Carlos Alcaraz. So Carlos Alcaraz leads with a breaker serve in the third set at 5-4 Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz is potentially one service hold away from winning the trophy. Potentially, maybe, potentially. Carlos Alcaraz service game. Carlos Alcaraz with a Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre, just hits the net, so second serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of box depth. Novak Djokovic backhand return with depth to centre, and then Carlos Alcaraz with a backhand with depth to the left, and then Novak Djokovic with a backhand to the left just out. So 15 love. So Carlos Alcaraz potentially 3 points from the trophy. 15 love. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre with depth, and Novak Djokovic gets a forehand return shot but can't get the ball much further. 30 love. A serve to the centre with depth from Carlos Alcaraz on that last point at 120 miles per hour. Alcaraz potentially 2 points away. Carlos Alcaraz potentially 2 points away. Carlos Alcaraz with a wide serve with depth. Novak Djokovic forehand return with depth to right. Backhand slice to left. Short from Carlos Alcaraz to left. And then Novak Djokovic is onto it with a backhand slice to left, but it just hits the net. And it's 40 love and 3 championship points for Carlos Alcaraz for a second title in a row at the third Tennis Grand Slam tournament of the season at Wimbledon. Potentially a second Wimbledon title / trophy in a row for Carlos Alcaraz. Potentially 1 point away. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre just out. So second serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box of a bit of kick. May have clipped the top of the net. So let second serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve towards wide and just hits the net, so double fault, and 40-15. 2 championship points for Carlos Alcaraz, 40-15. So Carlos Alcaraz with a serve towards wide, just hits the net, so second serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to centre of the box with depth. Novak Djokovic with a forehand return with depth to the right. And Carlos Alcaraz with a backhand shot after that hits the net a bit. So 40-30. A forehand return to the right with depth from Novak Djokovic off that Carlos Alcaraz serve. Third championship point on this Carlos Alcaraz service game for Carlos Alcaraz. So Carlos Alcaraz with a serve towards wide, clips the top net and bounces, so another serve at least for Carlos Alcaraz on this point. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve towards wide, clips the top of net and bounces, so another serve, so let again. So 2 lets in a row. So another serve on this point at least for Carlos Alcaraz. On this point. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve towards wide with depth. Novak Djokovic with a backhand block return, and then Carlos Alcaraz with a forehand drive volley to the left, but it's just out, so deuce. Wide serve with depth from Carlos Alcaraz. Novak Djokovic got a backhand block return in, and Carlos Alcaraz with a forehand drive volley to the left, just out, so deuce. So Carlos Alcaraz with a serve wide with depth. Novak Djokovic forehand return to the left, and then Carlos Alcaraz strikes a forehand to the right, and it's just out, and it's break point Novak Djokovic. Advantage and break point Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic has won 4 points in a row from 3 championship points Carlos Alcaraz on this Carlos Alcaraz service game. So break point Novak Djokovic. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre with depth just out, so second serve. Second serve for Carlos Alcaraz on this point. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box, bit of depth. Novak Djokovic backhand return to the centre, a bit of depth. And forehand to forehand, ball striking. Second, forehand to left from Novak Djokovic, a bit of depth. And then Carlos Alcaraz strikes a forehand to left, and it just hits the net. And Novak Djokovic has levelled the third set at 5-all. with a breaker serve on return. Carlos Alcaraz had 3 championship points, but with 5 points in a row, Novak Djokovic levels the third set at 5-all on serve. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box of depth. Novak Djokovic, forehand block return to the left. But then Carlos Alcaraz with a forehand drop shot to the left, and it's a forehand drop shot winner. And it's 4th championship point for Carlos Alcaraz in this third set. 6-4 Carlos Alcaraz with a mini break in this tie break in the third set for Carlos Alcaraz. 2 championship points. Potentially 1 point away from the trophy, Carlos Alcaraz. Potentially. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve on this point. And if Carlos Alcaraz wins this point on his serve on this point, rather, he wins the trophy. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre of the box, clips the top of net and bounces. So another serve at least. So another serve for Carlos Alcaraz on this point. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre just out. So second serve for Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz with a serve to the centre with depth, and Novak Djokovic's backhand return just hits the net, and Carlos Alcaraz has won the 3rd Grand Slam trophy and tournament of the season at Wimbledon, and for the 2nd season in a row at Wimbledon, Carlos Alcaraz has won the tournament at Wimbledon by 3 sets to love, 6-2, 6-2, 7-6.